SR93 Boxing. I'm back with a quick video. I'm going to compare Kell Brook with a few other fighters and see how they perform against Errol Spence. Not saying that if they would win or lose, but just looking at what are the advantage and disadvantage they will have over Errol Spence, and what sort of advantage disadvantage they will have as an opponent of Errol Spence compared to Kell Brook. Let's look at Keith Thurman, for example, because that's what the fight people are talking about. Keith Thurman hits harder than Errol Spence. He hits harder than Kell Brook as well, in my opinion. I do think Keith Thurman hits hard. Keith Thurman right now, since Maidana retired, is the hardest puncher at welterweight. And thing is, Errol Spence might have a heavier punch, we don't know. But Keith Thurman has this punch it's got a snap to it. And trust me, those snapping punches, they catch you by surprise, they can knock you out. He's also a lot faster, might also be nimbler, a lot faster than Kell Brook and Errol Spence. I think Keith Thurman is one of the fastest fighters out there at welterweight. And for that speed and power, he can cause a lot of problems. He can make Errol Spence respect his power a lot more. So that would be quite interesting to see how Errol Spence reacts to that kind of power, that kind of like KO power. Kell Brook has a very strong punch, and he's kind of like a borderline puncher. But Keith Thurman is a bona fide puncher. He can definitely put you out with one shot. Whether he's knocked guys out or not recently, he fought some guys with good chins. So, yeah, man. Let's see how Errol Spence... that would be an interesting fight. But Keith Thurman doesn't... One thing he has some disadvantages over Kell Brook. He doesn't really have good of a jab. With a jab, you can control your opponents. And it's easy to control your opponents when you have a really good jab that you use often. Keith Thurman does use his jab sometimes, but it's not really that good. That's one of his main weaknesses. And his right hand is not as straight as Kell Brook's right hand. And his timing, I think, when coming forward, his timing and his accuracy might not be as good, although he has improved in those departments. But he needs to straighten up his punches. And I think Keith Thurman is not as physically tough. Keith Thurman is not that durable, in my opinion. He doesn't seem very durable, especially to the body. He seems like he can get hurt or backed up very easily. He got hurt to the body against Porter, Garcia, Collazo. And against Chavez, he was losing through body work. Errol Spence is a really good body puncher. So it should be interesting. That fight should be interesting. Now let's look at Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao versus Errol Spence would be... Pacquiao is very experienced, by the way. Let's get that straight. And he's fast. I think he doesn't have the energy of a Keith Thurman maybe, because he's not as young, but he's fast. I think he might be faster than Keith Thurman. I think even to this stage, he's faster than Keith Thurman. He could be a bit more nimble, but his footwork isn't really there like it used to back in the day. Pacquiao, in my opinion, is a bit too old. Not saying that he'll lose to Errol Spence, because I'm not trying to make a prediction here, but he's a bit too old. He does have great timing. He does have a good high work rate. But Manny Pacquiao's jab isn't that good. He's a bit too small for Errol Spence, in my opinion. And his jab is not really a good jab. It's amazing that Manny Pacquiao has achieved so many things without a good jab, which is quite interesting. Manny Pacquiao also, he can be accurate, but he does come in square on at times. He just rush in, and Errol Spence can catch him, to be honest. Manny Pacquiao should stop to the body. And, yeah. I think he's been knocked out with one body shot in the past. So Manny Pacquiao being a guy that's not that big, if he gets hit by a big guy to the body, who's known for hitting to the body, it might not be good for Manny Pacquiao, especially at that age where he's already taken a lot of wear and tear. But Manny Pacquiao, as I said, is fast, good timing, and he's still a great fighter even to this day. Timothy Bradley. I think Timothy Bradley's defense. Timothy Bradley has to be one of the most overrated fighters out there. He was known as a good defensive fighter, but he is not a defensive fighter. He's very offensive against Errol Spence. Applying that type of pressure. Errol Spence is a bigger guy than Timothy Bradley, probably a little bit more technically sound. Timothy Bradley is a bit more experienced, might be a little faster, can be elusive at times, but Errol Spence, his underrated boxing ability will get the better of Tim Bradley. Those body shots, and Errol Spence is tough. Took some good shots, and I think, honestly, I don't like making predictions, but I think Timothy Bradley would be a win for Errol Spence. Who else is there? We got Danny Garcia, right? Actually, let's look at Amir Khan first, because I was going to say Amir Khan now. Amir Khan, in my opinion, when he looks good, he'll look better than Kell Brook in a way. He will actually outbox Errol Spence a lot, very easily. Not saying that he would beat Errol Spence, because Errol Spence is very good to the body. Amir Khan's a lot smaller than Kell Brook. He's not as tough. Keep in mind. I mean, he might be tougher mentally, but physically, he's like, Kell Brook is big. Amir Khan's smaller, so those punishment, those pressure, like, he won't be able to hold Errol Spence as easily as Kell Brook was able to hold him, and those body shots will probably take a toll on him, because even though Amir Khan can take a good shot to the body, the amount of volume with effective pressure that Errol Spence applies is actually quite dangerous, and Amir Khan doesn't like pressure. Amir Khan does struggle with pressure fighters. He does struggle with fighters that have a good inside game. And, against Amir Khan, Errol Spence will get on the inside. If he'd be stupid if he doesn't. He will be on the inside. He will land good punches. Amir Khan doesn't have a slick inside game anyway. So, Amir Khan has a lot of weaknesses over Errol Spence. But Amir Khan also has a lot of strengths over Errol Spence as well. Amir Khan's probably the fastest fighter that Errol Spence might ever face. When I say ever, it might even be, Amir Khan might be the fastest guy he ever faced, even compared to all the amateur fighters that he faced. Amir Khan has the most amount of experience when it comes to amateur and pro together. He has the best amateur background out of all the names that I might mention. He actually did better in the amateurs than Errol Spence, which is interesting, because Errol Spence in the amateurs did better than Keith Thurman, Kell Brook, Danny Garcia, Shawn. I think he did better than Shawn Porter as well. He did better than pretty much most people out there. But Amir Khan, I think, did better in the amateurs than Errol Spence. So he can easily outbox Errol Spence. And I think he's a better mover than Kell Brook. Kell Brook is better at placing his feet, so he can land good power, have good balance and things like that, and feint. But Amir Khan's better at moving around. He has good ring generalship, good jab, although a different kind of jab. The thing is, his jab and his right hand is not going to be as strong as Kell Brook's. But his right hand is pretty underrated. When it comes to power, it's pretty underrated. But it's not as hard as Kell Brook's right hand. And this could be bad for him, because it might not keep Errol Spence off him. And Errol Spence will wear him out to a point where his power will not be as prominent in the late rounds. But the thing is, again, Amir Khan, it'll be hard to get hold of Amir Khan, because Amir Khan's kind of quick, especially in the early rounds, because Kell Brook was getting hit with loads of body shots in the early rounds against Errol Spence. Amir Khan will be able to land a lot of punches, move around. Errol Spence will have loads of problems with the speed, because Amir Khan's super fast. But Amir Khan does have a lot of strengths and a lot of weaknesses against Errol Spence, similar to Keith Thurman, but different weaknesses and strengths. Danny Garcia. Now, contrary to what people think, and remember, styles make fights. Danny Garcia, I think I'm making this on the top of my head, so I could suddenly decide I'm wrong, even in this video. But Danny Garcia, right, is pretty tough. He's not as strong as Errol Spence or Kell Brook, but I feel like he's tougher than Kell Brook, mentally and physically. Danny Garcia's never been down. The only time he got rocked to a point where he almost went down, where he looked like he almost went down, was against Keith Thurman. And it's when he was throwing a punch. He got caught while throwing a punch, and the momentum of the punch almost sent him down. The momentum of his own punch as well as the other guy's punch was in the same direction. Danny Garcia is tough as nails, and he has a decent inside game. Danny Garcia has a decent jab, better jab than Keith Thurman, but not as good as Kell Brook, and that's also another thing. Kell Brook has a really good jab, and his 1-2 is not as straight as a Kell Brook. It's not at times not as elusive as Kell Brook's, but those hooks are. And Errol Spence can get caught. Like, he's a hittable guy. Danny Garcia has problems with people that sort of, outbox you and then move around, move around, and Danny Garcia has to chase them. But I think Errol Spence is someone that will come to Danny Garcia, as opposed to Danny Garcia chasing Errol Spence. Errol Spence is a naturally front foot fighter that comes forward, and then he's kind of applying pressure. He backs you up. Danny Garcia, stylistically, that's a pretty interesting fight. And stylistically, Danny Garcia likes people coming to him. All the fights that he had problems with are fighters that have shown to move around well, where Danny Garcia struggles to chase them up. Although it must be said that Lamont Peterson gave him loads of problems, but there was rumors about Danny Garcia struggling to make weight for the because he against Lamont Peterson, so we don't know anything about that. But Danny Garcia seems overall he seems very tough, and that's a good fight stylistically. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this, but Errol Spence is not a fast fighter. He has some actually he's a fast fighter. He's a fast fighter, but he's not. He's got fast hands. He's got decently good reflexes. It's not slow, but Errol Spence is not a fast fighter overall. He's not a really fast fighter. And Danny Garcia, and he's a hittable fighter as well. He's obviously, I think Kell Brook will have an easy time hitting him, but Danny Garcia can hit him as well to the body, and he's a lot tougher. Might hit harder as well. Danny Garcia might hit harder than Kell Brook, because I've seen Danny Garcia KO people with one shot. Decent fighters, Eric Morales, or even knock people down with one shot. Eric Morales couldn't get knocked down against Marcus Maidana, but Danny Garcia dropped him. Amir Khan as well. Now you can say everything about Amir Khan, but again, Marcus Maidana couldn't drop him. Marcus Maidana against Soto Karass knocked him out similarly to Keith Thurman versus Soto Karass. So, but Keith Thurman and Maidana has some of a similar power level, and Keith Thurman against Shawn Porter was rocking Porter a lot harder than Brook was. So Danny Garcia, in my opinion, hits harder than Kell Brook, but he doesn't hit you as cleanly. His jab is not as good, and he still has a good jab though. But I think Danny Garcia versus Errol Spence. Danny Garcia stylistically, that's a pretty good fight. That's a pretty good fight actually. Who else is there? Shawn Porter. I have to make this video quick, man. Shawn Porter, he doesn't have a lot of effective pressure, but Shawn Porter's really strong and really tough. He's extremely tough, relentless, doesn't seem to ever get tired. I don't know what the fuck. The guy's like a machine when it comes to physical, endurance. Shawn Porter versus Errol Spence is also a good fight. The main reason why Errol Spence is able to get these guys out, because he's able to work the body and make them get tired. I'm not saying Shawn Porter wouldn't get tired, but I feel like I've never seen him tired. I've seen Kell Brook get tired. I've seen Amir Khan get tired. I've seen Danny Garcia get tired. I mean, Danny Garcia doesn't really get tired, but he might be making weight and shit. But I'm just saying, I've never seen Shawn Porter tired. He seems to be able to take a good shot to the body and the head, but I've not seen him take hard shots to the body. But oh well. He's very strong. He's a very physical fighter. Shawn Porter seems to have a improved jab than before. And as I said, he's physical. And also, Shawn Porter's a lot faster than Errol Spence. He's very fast. Fast feet. He seems to improve them before. But although I don't like his style, the truth is he has improved. Shawn Porter is again a better stylistic fight than Keith Thurman and Amir Khan. But he doesn't. The thing is, Shawn Porter doesn't have the jab and the right hand of a Kell Brook. And he doesn't. I don't think he has a pop either. I don't think he has a punching power. He doesn't have the timing. He doesn't have the boxing ability. He's just faster than Kell Brook in my opinion, and more, I say physical, and never seems to get tired. Just keeps coming. So he's a good fighter. Shawn Porter and Danny Garcia are two good fights, stylistically, to test Errol Spence, in my opinion. But other than that, I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't think of any other fighters that would. What are the fighters out there? Anyway, I'm going to end the video quick. I'm SR93 Boxing. I'm out. Let me know what you think. What are the fighters out there? Do you think I'm wrong in this? Do you think I'm right in this? Let me know how you think these fighters will do against Errol Spence. I do think Errol Spence is a special fighter. I can't wait to see more of him in the future. I'm SR93 Boxing. I'm out.